When you hear the name Jane Austen, what pops into your head? I am guessing it's witty heroines, maybe some brooding gentlemen, elegant ballrooms, sharp, classy, social commentary. But what if I told you that before all of that, there was just utter madness, melodrama, and a very, very confused cucumber? Just listen to this line. They told me Edward was not dead, but they deceived me. They took him for a cucumber. I mean, let that sink in. Who do you think wrote that? Some surrealist poet? Maybe a modern sketch comedy writer? The absurdity is that it's off the charts. But the author, I promise, it's someone you would never ever guess. Yep, that line was written by the Jane Austen, the very same women who gave us Pride and Prejudice. And here is the thing, before she became this master of subtle romance and irony, a teenage Jane Austen was she writing some of the wildest, most hilarious parodies you can possibly imagine. She, as a teenager, Austen wrote this whole collection of stories that we now call her Juvenilia, basically her early stuff. And in these stories, she wasn't trying to write the next great romance. Oh no, she was busy tearing the popular books of her day to absolute shreds. And her main target was this literary trend called sensibility. So, what was sensibility? Well, it was this whole idea that having these huge, overwhelming, and very, very public emotions was a sign of a good and noble soul. The more you cried, the more you fainted, the more you just fell into total despair over the smallest thing, well, the better a person you were. It was basically emotional performance art. And you can just imagine young Jane Austen rolling her eyes and finding the whole thing completely ridiculous. So, naturally, her first target was romance. Let's take a look at how our early characters handled love. Hint, it wasn't with quit dignity, it was with the most impractical, over the top, hysterical behavior imaginable. Okay, so here Austen is taking that romantic idea of living on love and making it completely literal. Edwards told that his beloved Laura might need, you know, food and water to survive. And his response is basically food. Why on earth would she need food when she has my love? It's such a perfect jab at the idea that passion alone can actually sustain you. And love in these stories, it wasn't some slow burn, it was an instant, all consuming bonfire. This character has known Henrietta for a whooping 1 month, but he talks like he's been through a lifetime of epic devotion. In Austen's parody world, there is no getting to know you. You just see someone across a room and bum, your soul is theirs forever. Done deal. And this is the brilliant downside to all that immersion. These characters' feelings are so exquisite, so incredibly fragile that you can't even make small talk with them. You can't start any other topic. You have to walk on eggshells because you are terrified that some random comment about the weather might trigger a full on emotional meltdown. It's like navigating a minefield of feelings. So, if you thought the way her characters fell in love was absurd, oh, just you wait. The way they handle tragedy is even better. Austen takes the extreme melodrama of grief from those sentimental novels and just cranks the dial all the way up until it shatters into pure comedy. So let me ask you, if you are living in this world of sensibility and you are faced with just terrible, awful news, what is the proper response? Do you process it quickly? Maybe talk it over with a friend? No. There is a very specific and very dramatic procedure that you have to follow. It's a simple three-step process. First, you weep, but, and this is important, in vain. Then you sigh, also in vain. And for the grand finale, you faint. Austen actually writes that when one character didn't come back, the heroines could not support it. We could only faint. It's not just an option. It's a it's a required, almost theatrical performance of sorrow. And that, my friends, brings us back to the cucumber. This is the absolute peak of that performative brief. The character Mary is in such a fit of frenzy that her brain just completely snaps. She hallucinates that her lost love has been mistaken for a vegetable. It is the ultimate expression of a mind so sensible that it's completely broken away